Well, that was easy. I built that in like 40 minutes. I guarantee you wouldn't have built a RotorHazard lap time in 40 minutes without this kit. One of the biggest unmet needs in the FPV world today is race timing systems. If you race, then you know that if you don't know how fast you're going around the course, then you can't know if you're getting better. And if you run large race events, then you know you have to have a race timing system so you can, know who won. And it's really a shame that commercial race timing systems have, I don't think any of them are left. Like, you used to be able to buy the Immersion RC Lap RF for individual timing, or the Immersion RC 8-way lap timer for event running, and just basically nobody makes them anymore. So what are you supposed to do? And that brings us to the topic of today's video, RotorHazard. And if you're thinking, Bardwell, I don't need another RotorHazard assembly video. No. I did a RotorHazard assembly video a little while back. It used old, out-of-date hardware. The only reason I did it was because someone said, if I send you this hardware, will you build this thing for me? And I thought, sure, I'll make a video. And the minute I started making that video, I realized that I wasn't building the latest and greatest. And then I went and I looked at what it would take to build the latest and greatest version of a RotorHazard lap timer, and it was like $500 worth of parts. I could have saved money in there somewhere, but it was a lot. It was too much. And putting it together was a ton of work. That's why I'm so excited to bring you this product today. Maybe I shouldn't just throw it all out on the bench. This is a pre-made, here it is. This is a pre-made RotorHazard lap timer that you can buy off of Etsy, and it comes ready to go. You plug it in, you plug your Raspberry Pi into it, and you got a RotorHazard lap timer. And it's not even more expensive. In fact, I think it's less expensive than if you bought all the parts yourself, especially if you count on the fact that you have to buy this from here and this from there and pay shipping from everybody. It's less expensive. It's easier to build. Oh my God, what more could you want? If you race, and especially if you run large events where you've got many racers in the air at a time, you need to watch this video. I'm Joshua Bardwell. You're going to learn something today. So obviously, we're going to put this together. We're going to program it. We're going to do all the things, and then we're going to have a working full 8-channel, top-of-the-line race timer. If you're thinking, I don't need all that, I just need the link to where I can buy this frickin' thing because I've always wanted a RotorHazard lap timer, but I haven't wanted to go buy all the stuff and build it together, that link is in the video description below. And in fact, you don't even have to assemble it yourself if you don't want to. Since the time when I originally recorded this video, NUCLEARHAZARD has started selling complete, pre-assembled, ready to go out of the box, including the Raspberry Pi. Everything you need to do, just plug it in and you can just start timing races. That is $240, which might sound like a lot of money, but I think when you add up the price of everything that would go into you building this yourself, add in shipping from a bunch of different websites, and add in your time to put it all together, that's actually a pretty freaking compelling price. But if you want to put all the parts together like I'm going to do in this video, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and there are a couple little customizations I did, then that's what we're going to do in this video. But if you want to do that, leave this video playing in the background so my analytics, just mute it, leave it playing in the background so my analytics look good, but then you got the link down below, and you can just go pick it up. We're going to put this together. Let's get started. And we're going to start the build with this print that I printed myself on my Bamboo Carbon X1C. Thank you very much to Bamboo for sending me that printer to a review. It couldn't have been easier. The quality of the print came out really well, and you can just download this LCL file off the internet. Links in the video description below, of course, and run it off on your favorite printer. If you don't want to do that, you can also buy a printed case from NUCLEARHAZARD, the same guy that makes this. But I figured, why not? I got a printer. I'll make it myself. So this is going to go in on this side. Here's the power button, and here is the power button next to the XT60. And we're just going to kind of slide that in and get that lined up. It does have screw holes, mounting bosses. Mounting holes. What do they take? It looks like they take an M3. Yeah, that seems about right. M3 by 4mm screw. Seems to be going right into this screw hole and holding this down. We've got the mounting screws. 1, 2, 3, and 4 appear to be the mounting holes. It sure looks to me like a battery should go in here, but the build instructions say a battery slot is not currently used. By the way, there are excellent build instructions included with the kit, so kudos for that. Now that the main board is installed, the next thing to do is to install the receiver modules. These are RX5808 receiver modules, and they're used to actually sense the signal from the video transmitter, and that's what's used for the timing. You can buy the RX5808 receiver modules separately and solder them to these PCBs, but why the hell would you do that when you could just buy them pre-soldered like I did? That's the whole point. You're spending money to save time. Why would you skip this step? Look what a pain in the ass. Doesn't that look like a pain in the ass? Come on, don't do that. So I have the full kit. I have 8 receiver modules, which means I could theoretically time up to 8 quads at a time on 8 different channels. Most races don't run that many racers, but I figured as long as I was building one, I wanted to build it all the way out. And all we have to do is insert these modules into these 4 slots here. However, be aware, do you see that there's a little white dot here? And there's a little, it's a little hard for you to see, but there's a little white dot on the back side here. There, you can just barely see it between there. Those dots need to be aligned. If you put them in backwards, they will not work correctly. I don't think anything will be damaged. But so I'm going to take this white dot, I'm going to turn it this way so it lines up with the white dot on the back side of the board. And shaboink, white dot to the back, shaboink, white dot to the back, shaboink. Ooh, this is great. This is like, my wife gets these little model kits, like you put together a dollhouse and like, it feels like you're building something, but really like most of the hard work has been done for you. Don't tell her I said that. She'll be like, this is hard work. There, we've got all 4 of those modules in. Yay. That was easy. What's next? Now we come to the reason why this race timer is out of the reach of many people. It's price. And it's not that its price isn't fair for what you get. If you look at timers that are capable of timing 8 people at once with all the features that this timer has, the price is pretty reasonable. But it was more reasonable back when you could get a Raspberry Pi at a reasonable price. And the brains of this system run on a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't need to be the latest and greatest. It can be this Raspberry Pi 3 Model B. It could be a B+. It could be a 4, but it'd be a waste because it doesn't need that much processing power and memory and stuff. And these things are really freaking expensive these days, as much as $200. I think the price has started to come down. But if you don't want to do it this way, there are ways to build a Raspberry Pi, a RotorHazard race timer without having to have a full Raspberry Pi. You just won't get the 8-way timing that this has. For example, this right here is a RotorHazard Atom, also made by NUCLEARHAZARD. It has it can do 2 channels at once, and you can see there's no Raspberry Pi in there. So there are less expensive ways of doing it. But my goal with this is to do like the full-fat, full-on 8-way race timing for the great big multi-GP chapter that wants to run the biggest races in the world. And so we're going to be using a full Raspberry Pi. So we're going to take this header here, this 2-pin header, and drop it onto there, line it up, and drop it in. Make sure I get it lined up right. Could have done this before I put the thing in the case, but yay. I can't help but notice that this Raspberry Pi has an HDMI output here. Like it seems, I'm going to guess that this case was designed for one that doesn't have an HDMI output, but boy, it seems like a missed opportunity to have a little gap here where you could plug in a screen. The management of the system is done either via Ethernet with SSH or via like Wi-Fi or something, but you know, if you had the ability to plug in a keyboard and a monitor, seems like you might want to. This fan also comes with the kit. It's going to install on the lid, and it's going to go like this with the logo facing the lid. And in the photos, the build photos on the site, it looks like the wire should come out this way, although I don't think it really matters. And I believe we've got M3. In the photos on the website, they've got the screws coming up from the outside and then going into the lid, and they're just basically no nuts. They're just sunk into the plastic. I am not sure how I feel about that. Like on some level, it just hurts me to not have Like it feels like they're going to pull out or something. I don't know. I guess I'm going to follow along, though. I'm going to do it. What if I don't have the exact right size and it sticks out too far? I need to buy more M3s, I guess. These are M3 countersunk. These are cap head. Okay, I'm just going to do it differently. I'm going to do it my way. I did it my way. 'Cause I'm a loser, baby. I can't sing this next line or YouTube will demonetize me. I like having I like seeing the screw heads on the outside more. Oh yeah, look how nice that is. Come on. That's really nice. Is it? Those nuts are gonna go on for sure. Fan is installed. It really bugs me that this one screw is longer than the others, but I don't think I have another one of the same size. Damn it. How did I do this? How did I let this happen? I'll never see that again. It's okay. Oh, no, I have one that's the right length, but it's gold instead of silver. Also unacceptable. Okay. The defect that you can't see is more tolerable than the defect that you can see. The fan is going to plug in right down here. And that's pretty much it. The fan can't go on top of the modules, so it has to go like over here. And then we'll just get some more little 4mm screws to put the lid on. And then the next step is to set up the software. Yeah, you didn't think we were done. You didn't think it would be that simple. Next, we've got to set up this SD card with the operating system and the RotorHazard software. And this process is kind of tedious. Like, there's just a lot of steps where I'm just reading an instruction and I'm copy pasting an instruction into the command line, and then something happens and I just proceed. And I've done it before, and at the end of the process it worked, but it was pretty tedious. And it led me to wonder, can I not just like download a copy of the SD card? You know what I wanted to do? And I actually asked one of the developers that, and they said, no, there's too many like little variants in the hardware and it just wouldn't be possible to do that. So we're going to try and make this as simple as possible, but it's only going to get so simple. So we're going to start with this SD card, and the Raspberry Pi website recommends using an SD card with at least 16 gig of storage. I have here a 32 gig, and hopefully that's going to be enough. The next thing we're going to do is go to this URL, raspberrypi.com/software, and download the Raspberry Pi Imager. And that's going to start making this SD card into a bootable media for our Raspberry Pi. Now that the software is installed, we'll insert the SD card into a card reader on our computer and let's see, choose device. This is a Raspberry Pi 3B. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Raspberry Pi 3, got it. Operating system is, let's just choose the default. Sounds right. And for storage, oh, this is going to be which SD card we're flashing to. Let's make sure we do the right one. Not them. It's this one. Let's just make sure. Ah, yeah, that's the right one. Okay. iDrive. And next, would you apply? Yes, we do want to apply customization settings. Let's name it RotorHazard.local as our DNS name. Username and password. It's going to be, let's just make it RotorHazard and RotorHazard for the sake of simplicity. Terrible security, I know. Configure wireless LAN. So I believe that this will cause the Raspberry Pi to broadcast a Wi-Fi network. We're not giving it a wireless LAN that it will connect to, like my house. Hey there guys, it's Joshua from the future. I misunderstood what this configure wireless LAN option does. What I thought it does is set up the Raspberry Pi to broadcast its own Wi-Fi network so that we can connect to it with our computer and configure it and work with it. That's not what it does. What this actually does is the Raspberry Pi needs to get on a network so you can configure it, because we're not plugging a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor into it. So how can we configure it? It has to get on a network, and it needs access to the internet so that it can download stuff that it is going to need to do for the setup. So what you actually have to do here is you have to put the Wi-Fi name of your local home Wi-Fi. And we have to put the password here, but I'm not going to tell you what the password for my home Wi-Fi is. And then when it boots up, it will log on to your Wi-Fi and you can proceed with the next step. Alternatively, if you have an Ethernet cable, you can just get an Ethernet cable, plug it into your router, and plug that into the Ethernet port on the back of the Raspberry Pi. It'll do the same thing. Enable SSH. I think so. I think we want SSH so we can log in and configure it. And options, doesn't matter. Okay, great. Save and apply customization settings. Yes, and continue. When that's done, we will insert the SD card into the Raspberry Pi and we will power it up. And I want you to look right here because there's two status LEDs. And unfortunately, they're not visible from the outside of the box. Once it's working, you don't need to see them, but you get the box open now so we can see them. We'll power up. We should see right here a red and a green LED, and the green LED should kind of be going blink, 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 blink. That means that the Raspberry Pi is booting up. If the green LED is going blink, 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 or blink, 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 or any like repeating number of blinks, it means there's an error, and you will have to go start doing some web searching to figure out what the hell went wrong. I will say the first SD card I tried for some ridiculous reason didn't work. And I just got blink, blink, and then I just tried another SD card and it worked. So, but we are cruising along well here and it is getting ready to boot up. And if I am lucky, I should log on to my home network and I should be able to find it. So now the RotorHazard is finished booting up and presumably it's on my Wi-Fi network. I don't know. And if you are a network administrator kind of guy, you can just go log into your router and you can look in your devices list. You can look in your DHCP address table and you can see whether it's there and find its IP address. But for those who don't want to do that, there is a alternative method that maybe probably hopefully will work. Here's what you do. The first thing you're going to need to do is download the software Putty, P-U-T-T-Y. You can do it from putty.org. I'll put a link in the video description below. You're going to need this software regardless of whether what I'm about to show you works or not. But you're going to download Putty, and then you're going to run Putty. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose connection type SSH, and your host name you're going to put RotorHazard.local. RotorHazard.local. You see, you might remember that when we created the operating system image, we gave the RotorHazard the host name, RotorHazard.local. And if this has all worked correctly, then we should be able to connect to that without even knowing what the IP address is. Let's give it a try. I'm just going to click open. And this is normal. This is actually good to get this warning. We'll just hit accept. And sure enough, yay, we have the option to log in. We are connected to our RotorHazard. So log in as, I'm going to type the username RotorHazard, which I put into the configuration when I created the boot image. And the password I put in was also RotorHazard. Terrible infosec. We are now logged in and are ready to proceed. The next thing we need to do is download the RotorHazard install manager to our Raspberry Pi, which will make it easy to install the RotorHazard software and set up other convenient options without having to do a lot of manual steps. I'll put a link here in the video description below to where you can go download this. But on this page, we're going to scroll down till we get to this section, downloading the software, automatic download, and we're just going to take this command. We're going to just click and copy it. I'm going to click over to my Putty window and right click to paste it in and hit enter. And it'll do some stuff. And when it's done, I'll go to the next step. Next, we are going to use the command to open the software. We'll just again copy and right click and enter. I'm not a complete Linux noob. I have used Linux before, like just as a user, not really as an admin, if there is such a thing as a Linux user and not an admin. But every time I do this, I feel like I'm such a freaking idiot. And I'm just like, derp, copy, paste, black screen, text going up and down. Unable to locate package, Python 3. In case of errors, please try. Internet connection is yes. Next, sudo apt update. Sudo apt upgrade -y. Okay, I'm going to type these things because something went wrong. Sudo apt upgrade -y. What did that do? I don't know, but I sudoed it, so by God it did it. Sudo, make me a sandwich. Sudo ntpd-qg in case of errors with date-related system updates. I don't think that happened. Sudo apt install wget zip unzip curl -y. That would be if the original curl command didn't work. CURL, I don't know how you say that. And then this chmod, Maybe we need to chmod this because it doesn't have execute permission. I don't think that was what it was, though. It couldn't find some Python library. Well, we'll give it another go after this update. Okay, that's done. Let's just try again. I'm going to press the up arrow to go back, and we're going to try and run it again. Oh, that worked. Haha, it worked. Fantastic. So what do we got here? Okay, open next page by typing N. Great, I will do. Okay, I did. Great. Haven't set up config file yet. Please enter the configuration wizard point 4. Okay, go here first. 4, enter. I think I'm supposed to type the word stable, aren't I? Or am I supposed to type C? Oh, okay. RotorHazard. Stable. US. 8 nodes. That's the number of nodes that you plugged in. I bought all 8. You may not have. I'm just going to hit enter and go with the default. Oh, absolutely. I want to enter the advanced part of the wizard. Oh, I don't know that. No, I'm not going to do that. I have no idea. I shouldn't have done this. Confirm. Yes. Okay. RotorHazard Manager. Go here now. 1. Install RotorHazard server. Yes, I got to do that. Go here now. Reboot. Do it now. I don't know. I'm just going to keep following. Reopen the install manager by typing rheem. Okay. Reboot. Nope. It's alive. Great. Restart session. Oh, great. Okay. We're back in the install manager. Okay, 1, continue. Continue installation. Okay, I mean, so far I'm just being led along by the nose. That's fine. I am fine with being led along by the nose. I'm not at all insulted. I appreciate the developers for making this so damn easy. Okay, press enter to continue. Configure the server now. Okay, great. What will be the admin username on the RotorHazard page? Fine, admin. RotorHazard. Which port will you use? Okay. We're going to go with no. I don't have any LEDs. I can't resist going into the advanced part of the wizard, even though the last time I did it, I didn't know what any of the options meant. No, it's happening again. No, it's happening again. I don't know what any of this. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this. Yes. Am I done? Exit to the main menu. What else? Nodes flash and update. My nodes should be up to date. Pretty sure they're up to date. There's additional firmware for the actual sensor nodes, but I believe NUCLEARHAZARD flashes them, so I'm not going to touch that. Let's go to additional features. Access point and internet. Do I want my node to start up a Wi-Fi hotspot? Well, the alternative would be that I have to plug a Ethernet cable into it and run it to a laptop. That's what most people do on actual big events. I'm going to do an automatic Wi-Fi hotspot. And actually, the automatic hotspot, I think the way that it works is if it detects my home network, then it logs onto my home network. But if it doesn't detect my home network, it sets up its own hotspot so that I can, be out in the middle of a field somewhere and still connect to it with Wi-Fi. Connect to any previously known Wi-Fi, and then if no known network is found, it creates a self-hosting hotspot. What do you want your hotspot name to be? I don't want it all caps, though. Hotspot password to be. Guess what? Again, you should probably make up better passwords, but I'm being extremely lazy for the sake of this demonstration. Configuring is complete. Awesome. The other thing we want to do is automatically forward requests to port 80 over to port 5000 so that we can easily connect to it without having to type port 5000 every time. We're going to do that using these commands. And we'll right click and hit enter. Do you want to continue? Yes. Save the current rules? I'm sure. Yes. Okay. And then let's, how do you reboot? Reboot. Okay. That's going to disconnect and it'll power cycle. At this point, we still seem to be unable to connect to the server. I wonder if that's because the server is not automatically running when we first power up. It seems like that would have been the kind of thing it would do. Oh, start server now. Start server now. Why would it not? Yeah, no, we're going to fix that. That's good. It's running. It looks like it's all working. Fantastic. Yeah, running. Okay. Okay, that's fine. But we shouldn't have to do that manually every time we start the thing. It should automatically run. Let's make that happen next. Here are the instructions for setting up a RotorHazard server to start automatically when the system boots up. We are going to, oh, look, again, copy and paste. Yay. Copy the contents of the file and, do I delete this? I don't know what I do. Oh, if the username was configured as something other than pi during the op, be sure to change that. Okay, where is that? User equals, RotorHazard. Enter the following command to update the service file permissions. Copy, right-click, enter. Done. Enter these commands to enable the service. Copy, right-click. Done. It should start automatically when the Raspberry Pi is started up. In just a second, I'm going to find the thing that I screwed up that is preventing my server from running, and I'm going to show you it, and then I'm going to show you how to fix it. And the server is going to run. I don't want to spoil the surprise for you. It's done. It works freaking amazing. Before I do that, it's me, Joshua from the future, to jump into the past and remind you that I have a Patreon. Patreon is a website where you can subscribe to me for as little as $2 a month, or more if you feel like I've earned it. Think about the value that you get from my content. Just gut check a dollar amount. It could even be a small dollar amount. If I were sitting on the exit of the highway going, hey, drone help, and holding out my hands, would you throw $2 at me? If the answer to that is no, keep watching my videos. Maybe someday the answer will be yes. I'm going to keep trying to earn it. But if the answer to that is yes, then head on down to the link in the video description and join my Patreon. $2 a month, $24 a year. You get access to my Discord server. It's one of the best resources at FPV. Mostly, though, you just get to feel like you're giving something back and you're helping make sure that I'm able to keep doing what I'm doing. On with the video. Hey there, folks. It's Joshua from the future. There's one more step you need to do. If you changed your username to RotorHazard like I did, here where it says service, you need to change the user from Pi to RotorHazard. Why didn't I leave it at Pi? I don't know. I couldn't leave well enough alone. Working directory is going to be RotorHazard, and exec start is going to be RotorHazard. Then, when all that is done, you're going to Control X, Y to save, and enter. And now, if we power cycle this thing, the RotorHazard server should start up automatically. So let's go ahead and reboot the timer by typing sudo reboot into the CLI. It will reboot, and then if we bring up a web page and just type into the address bar rotorhazard.local, after this finishes rebooting, fingers crossed, it's all going to freaking work. Oh, that's a good sign. That means the server started up. Come on, baby. Oh, it's working. It's working. That's freaking amazing. Wow, there is so much stuff here. Like, we've got practice mode where we can see the times of pilots as they practice. We've got event management where we can create heats and brackets automatically, show results. There's too much here. I originally thought that this video was going to end with me taking this timer outside and flying around and like doing some practice timing with it. But I can see that that would be a disservice to the people who made this software. It would be a disservice to this software to pretend I know more than I do and to kind of half-ass that. I'm going to take some time to actually learn how to use this software and how to run events with it. It probably means I'm going to need to actually run an event. Maybe it'll have to be a whoop race. It's the middle of winter here. And I'm going to come back at some point in the future and we're going to see if we can do that tutorial. In the meantime, I want to show you a couple other videos you may be interested in. The first one is an alternative piece of timing equipment called LiveTime. LiveTime is actually what's used for the biggest races. And in fact, I think it's the only software that MultiGP actually allows you to submit times with. RotorHazard can actually be used as a timing sensor for LiveTime, but frankly, there's a lot of movement these days to say RotorHazard in and of itself is good enough. You shouldn't need LiveTime. If you want to get a sense of what using LiveTime is like, I did a video where I walked through LiveTime with one of the guys who used to run races here in Knoxville. I'm going to put a card on screen and you can check that out and see how you think RotorHazard stacks up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.